The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Here's a question I have, and there is a legit answer for it, and I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, okay? So this video is not meant to be taken seriously, all right? It's sort of comical. By the way, one of the things that I would love to have happen, return to our society, and maybe it's never going to return, but I'd love some people in the comments to comment on this, which can we get to a place where we can have a sense of humor about things? You know, I mean, just, it's okay to make a sarcastic joke about anything. It's okay. You know, Taiwan is a country. Oh, fuck, I just abandoned China. Anyway, sorry. It's okay to make a joke. It's not a joke, actually. It is a country. Fuck you, China. But in all seriousness, I think... come on, I've got your president as my avatar, man. It's poo. All right. Anyway, look, it's okay to make jokes about things. We all should be able to take a joke. I think one of the things that I would love for everybody to get it's not even thicker skin. It's just perspective. Like it's okay to go up to somebody and go, dude, are you okay? You seem really obsessed over Bud Light. That doesn't need to start a cultural war. It's okay to make a crack about a comic book looking super funky or a panel to look weird. It's okay. This shouldn't start kind of a World War III with Mark Brooks. It's okay to just joke every now and then. Life should be okay and should be funny, right? It honestly should be funny some of the time. That's an okay thing to wind up with. Anyway, be that as it may. Look, what are we talking about today? The key to what I'm talking about here, is humor. Okay, so why is so right now there's this trend in comic books to have heroes, really not villains. Nobody gives a shit about representation and villains, but heroes to represent the world around them. All right, fine. So you have diverse heroes. Okay, again, fine. It would make sense. The thing that's always kind of struck me as a little weird is that if you have a global superhero team, and every now and then somebody plays with this, but it always feels like they're kind of jacking it up. But if you have a global superhero team, like the Avengers protects the globe. All right, so you've got Captain America, white dude. You got Thor, kind of white god. I don't know, Norse god. I don't know if would you still call Thor Caucasian? I mean, by appearance, yes, but if you're a Asgardian god, I don't know. Seems like you got lightning in your DNA. I don't know if you prescribe to a race anymore. But anyway, okay, you got to do this. You got white Tony Stark. You got white Captain Marvel. Okay, you've got Blade. Black American. You've got Black Panther. You've got who else? You got Robbie Reese, right? You have Latino Ghost Rider. Who else do you have? Oh, you got hang on. You got white Jane Foster. You got Native American Echo. You got whatever the hell Namor is, Atlantean. I don't know what race you want to put. Anyway, you got these people. Okay. Where's the Chinese hero? China's a pretty big part of the world. Where's the Indian hero? And I mean India. Where's the Hindi character? If you're a global superhero team and you're going purely by demographics, this thing is a Western U.S.-centric comic. Now, it's a comic sold in the U.S., so of course it's going to look that way. But I'm just saying, if we're truly going to go for representation, feels like we're still doing it in a very American-centric way. It seems kind of weird. But the weirder thing to me is when they're like, well, we got to have a character who's disabled. Why? Even Professor X in the X-Men running around in a wheelchair. I mean, like, look, you've been to the Shi'ar Empire. You've got, telekinesis. You've got all these other things. You're telling me you can't, you're friends with Tony Stark. You can't make a little Iron Man suit so you can walk around? Like, why is he in that wheelchair? And for years is like in a shitty wheelchair. At least when the Jim Lee era came on, they gave him some kind of weird, like, Star Trek looking gold thing that fucker could, hover around in. But I always seemed like that thing was more inconvenient. The thing was giant. Like you'd have to change the whole mansion. It wouldn't turn the corners. I don't even see how that thing's getting into his little office. Like that wheelchair doesn't work. But why are you in a wheelchair in the first place? You just I have to look at that and go, this guy just likes sitting down. Because you're friends with Tony Stark. You could just get some Iron Man pants and wear that around. Seriously. And you can't say, well, mentally he couldn't do it, because he did. He later went and figured out how to walk with a cloned body of himself. It's not like he was like, I've got to be in a wheelchair to be true to who I am. Nope. The fucker was like just sitting in a wheelchair forever. Why? It's weird to me. In the world of superheroes, if you really take it to its conclusion, in the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe, there should be no disabilities anywhere, because they have technology, magic powers. Doctor Strange couldn't whip up a walking spell for Professor X. You could travel the multiverse and you can make entire buildings kind of fly around in orbit. But you're like, too difficult to make you walk. Really? Hell, you see every now and then the X-Men get beaten to hell, and they're in some kind of we got to head off to Moria McTaggart's island there and sit in the little the little machine that's going to make you healthy, and we're going to rebuild half of Wolverine's face. You can't do anything for Professor X's spine? Nothing? No, he likes that wheelchair. He likes where he is. Really? Seems strange. Same thing with overweight heroes. Now, there's not a lot of those. But that was always kind of the wild part about Faith. Faith's flying around. But she's interacting with characters who could solve that. So why? It's I don't want magic. I don't want to use superpowers to cure my condition. Why not? You're using superpowers to save lives and catch people falling out of planes and all kinds of other shit. If I follow that logic to its conclusion, you shouldn't be using your powers to do anything. But you are all the time. Just you're okay being fat. So the reality in all this is why they're that way is because the comic writers and the editors are we want to make sure other people feel represented. But do people want that? That's one of those big myths in comics that's come up for a while. And by the way, I think it's universal, which includes gender, race, sexuality, all those kinds of things. I think people want to, if somebody's picking up a comic book, they want to just have a good adventure and a good story. That's it. They're not looking for themselves to be in the comic. I know we get mail printed all the time finally, I see there's a black Spider-Man and I am also black, so I am inspired that I could be Spider-Man one day. No, you're not. And if you are, somebody your parents need to step in and be buddy, you're never going to be Spider-Man, because there aren't radioactive spiders. You're not ever going to get those powers. So just give up on that dream. It's a dumb dream. Be a doctor. That's what they're telling their kids in China and India. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, be a doctor. And by the time you're old enough, we'll have annexed Taiwan, and then you can go practice over. No, I'm just kidding. Sort of. But anyway, I don't think kids, I don't think people are actually thinking about those things. Now, I do agree that for kids, they're hey, isn't it cool? There's a black Spider-Man, and he's closer to your age. But here's my hypothesis. I think a lot of kids are more excited about the fact that Miles is closer to their age, goes to school, than they are that he's black. If you're a black kid going to school and there's a superhero who's going to school, I think you're more excited about their life experience, what they're doing, than the fact that he's black. I think that if Miles is, listening to hip hop or things that feels more like what you do in life, and then that's what excites you, which means he can appeal to Latino kids, Puerto Rican kids, black kids, white kids, all kinds of things, because the life matches up. That's my theory. Now, again, I'm sure that there's some people hey, black Spider-Man, I'm black, that's cool. But by and large, I think that's a pretty low number. And as part of my example, I will give Dogman. Okay, a lot of kids like Dogman. They're excited by Dogman. They beg their parents to buy that shit. Well, guess what? None of them are going, one day I can grow up to be a dog police officer. That's I can. I'm so excited that I finally get to see myself. I identify as a dog, and I'm excited to see a dog in this comic. Kids aren't like that. Kids are just into cool things. And to them, something cool is, hey, this character is doing the same kind of shit I'm doing. They're going to school. They've got a girlfriend. Oh, it's awkward. She's a daughter of the vulture or something. It's crazy crap going on there. But that's what they're excited about. They're not going like, I hated comics until finally there was a comic with a black kid, and I am also black, so now I will read the comics. That's not how it's happening. And then to even further, people who are handicapped are not going, it's not so bad being confined to a wheelchair because at least I can pick up a comic book and there's Professor X wheeling around. No. To the contrary, and I had a customer in my shop who, was paralyzed and was in a wheelchair, bought a lot of comics. One of the things that she said on a constant basis was, why don't they let this motherfucker walk? I'm not even joking. Like, he clearly can walk. There's clearly technology to help him walk. It pisses me off that I can't walk, that I'm confined to this wheelchair. I have to pick up a comic book and see this asshole also not walking when there's clearly cures. There's clearly ways to help him walk again, but it's like they felt it like this person's making fun of me. And I want to leave you with that because I promise you, that is more the reaction you get from people. Not, wow, I'm inspired because I'm handy capable and this person's handy capable in the comic and I see myself in the comic. It's the exact opposite. I feel like this comic is making fun of my disability. That is the more likely reaction you're getting when you've got characters flying through space, blowing up planets, all this other shit, and then Professor X is stuck in his 1930s wheelchair. That's more what's going through people's head. One thing about human beings, they hate to be pandered to. And so if they start to suspect that you're doing that you're pandering to them, it turns out that pisses them off. So if they're opening up a comic, it's like, hey, are you black and gay? Well, guess what? Your ship has come in because we've got a black gay character. So now finally, you're in this comic. The majority of people are going to go, oh, go fuck yourself. Seriously, they do not want that type of bullshit. They do not want to be pandered to. They actually just want to read a story. They're plunking down their $4 to read something entertaining. They're not plunking down their $4 to be vindicated in some weird-ass way. And no, I heard this reason come up too. Well, it's like, well, you have to include characters like that because what about the person who's in a wheelchair who's wanting to cosplay as something in Comic-Con? What about that person? Are you fucking kidding me? You're writing comics for 0.1% of the comic buying population? Why are you doing that? And by the way, having known and been friends with many gay people who would go to cons, come in, shop for comics, other things, they like to dress up with like whoever the fuck they want to dress up for. Nobody is like, well, I'd love to go dress up. I'd like to go cosplay as an X-Man in the comic convention, but all I can do, all my options are Iceman and North Star. Damn it, I wish they'd make Gambit gay. I got a great Gambit costume, but I can't. I'm gay, and Gambit is cis. I can't dress up like Gambit because he's not gay. Nobody is doing that. Hey, here's a deep secret. A lot of the people who cosplay at Comic-Cons, a lot of them are not the same gender, sexuality, or even race as the characters that they are cosplaying as. I know, it's wild, but true story. There are a lot of gay people that have dressed up like Captain America and gone to Comic-Con. However, despite what you've heard about Cap and Bucky, Cap is straight. I know. It's crazy. Enough with the trying to make the characters in the comic book represent the fans. The fans don't need that, don't want it. It doesn't move the needle at all. And then if you've got characters you're writing into the comics who are handicapped or something, what the fuck are you doing? Considering how ridiculous this looks. And if it's a good story, it's a good story, fine. But some of this shit's crazy. Anyway, thanks for listening.